Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our final SME Institute seminar for this fiscal year. Our topic today is Navigating Insider Reporting and SEDI. My name is Christina Skocz, Legal Counsel in the Corporate Finance Branch here at the Ontario Securities Commission. I'm here today with my colleagues Elizabeth Henry and Evelina Barsukov. Elizabeth is an Insider Reporting Review Officer, and Evelina has also worked with the Insider Reporting Group. The Insider Reporting team is a group dedicated to overseeing insider reporting filings. As I'm sure many of you know, they are very knowledgeable and incredibly dedicated to helping filers understand their insider reporting obligations and complete their filings. This group functions within the OSC and also coordinates on filing matters with our CSA colleagues across the country. Before we begin the presentation, I'm going to draw your attention to the disclaimer on slide 2. The views expressed in this presentation are the personal views of the presenting staff and do not necessarily represent the views of the Commission or other Commission staff. The presentation is provided for general information purposes only and does not constitute legal or accounting advice. Information has been summarized and paraphrased for presentation purposes, and the examples have been provided for illustration purposes only. Responsibility for making sufficient and appropriate disclosure and complying with applicable securities legislation remains with the company, as applicable, and its reporting insiders. Information in this presentation reflects securities legislation and other relevant standards that are in effect as of the date of the presentation. The contents of this presentation should not be modified without the express written permission of the presenters. So our presentation today will touch on the following 3 areas: the legal and regulatory framework of insider reporting requirements in effect in Ontario, compliance, what we have observed and how we can help reporting issuers and reporting insiders improve. In addressing this issue, we discuss our recent OSC review, some issues we continue to see, and also some frequently asked questions. And finally, SEDI. Based on the popularity of our SEDI demonstration last year, we would like to do another demonstration, but this time with different lessons. We understand that some users have difficulty with SEDI, so we hope that we can show you the proper way to complete certain filings and make your SEDI experience more positive. As previously mentioned, today is our final SME Institute presentation for this fiscal year. I do hope that you have had a chance to attend some of our earlier presentations and found them beneficial. Our outreach to small and medium-sized enterprises is important to us. The SME Institute provides seminars that we hope assist issuers and, for the purposes of today's presentation, filing agents and insiders in navigating regulatory waters and understanding various disclosure requirements. We do this so that we can help small and medium-sized enterprises focus on building their business and reduce costs for compliance. With respect to insiders of an issuer, we want to help them file properly and in a timely manner in order to avoid penalties associated with late filings. So what is the purpose of insider reporting? The main policy rationale for requiring insiders to report on trades that they make in an issuer is that disclosure of such trades by insiders contributes to a fair and efficient marketplace. It does this by 1. Deterring improper insider trading based on material undisclosed information, 2. Increasing market efficiency by providing investors with information concerning the trading activities of insiders, and 3. Discouraging illegal and otherwise improper activities involving stock options and other equity-based instruments. For example, stock option backdating, option repricing, and opportunistic timing of grants. Given these underlying policy reasons, it follows that failure to comply with insider reporting requirements will have an effect on the integrity, reliability, and effectiveness of the insider reporting regime. This failure then also has a negative impact on market efficiency. So looking now to the legislative and regulatory framework for insider reporting requirements. Under Canadian securities legislation, certain insiders, referred to as reporting insiders, of reporting issuers other than mutual funds, are required to file insider reports about their transactions in securities and other related financial instruments of their public companies using an internet-based reporting system called SEDI, the System for Electronic Disclosure by Insiders. In Ontario, the general insider reporting requirements are found in the Securities Act, but certain insider reporting requirements in the Act have been varied by National Instrument 55-104, Insider Reporting Requirements and Exemptions. National Instrument 55-104 consolidated the principal insider reporting requirements and exemptions available in various Canadian jurisdictions into a single national instrument to make it easier for reporting issuers and reporting insiders to understand their obligations. The substantive insider reporting requirements and specific insider reporting obligations are found in National Instrument 55-104, and its companion policy contains commentary and guidance on the insider reporting requirements therein. National Instrument 55-102 sets out the process for filing insider reports and includes the forms of reports for insider profiles, insider reports, issuer profile supplements, issuer event reports, and the SEDI user registration form. National Policy 51-201 provides guidance on best disclosure practices for issuers to promote good disclosure, enhance their credibility with investors, and minimize the risk of non-compliance with securities legislation. As part of the guidance, National Policy 51-201 includes a provision on insider trading policies and blackout periods. There are numerous CSA and OSC staff notices which remind reporting issuers and their reporting insiders of their filing obligations and provide guidance on the process by which to file their insider reports. Canadian Securities Administrators Staff Notice 55-315 frequently asked questions about National Instrument 55-104 insider reporting requirements and exemptions, and Canadian Securities Administrators Staff Notice 55-316 questions and answers on insider reporting and the System for Electronic Disclosure by Insiders are helpful FAQ-style notices. All of these are readily available online, as are the national instruments, at the OSC's website and can be downloaded and are easily keyword searchable. Also, the recent OSC Staff Notice 51-726 Report on Staff's Review of Insider Reporting and User Guide for Insiders and Issuers, published on February 18, 2016, includes examples and user guides for both reporting insiders and reporting issuers. So let's start by identifying who is a reporting insider. Generally, reporting insiders are persons who are insiders and hold securities of a reporting issuer. The full reporting insider definition can be found in Section 1 Sub 1 of National Instrument 55-104, but essentially, a reporting insider includes members of senior management, such as the Chief Executive Officer, Chief Financial Officer, and Chief Operating Officer of the reporting issuer, as well as of a major subsidiary of the reporting issuer. All members of the Board of Directors are considered reporting insiders. Further, if you own 10% or more of the voting rights of a reporting issuer, you are a significant shareholder and must report these findings. If you hold this position through a holding company, both you and the holding company are considered reporting insiders, and both of you are required to file insider reports and insider profiles. I would like to note here that the concept of reporting insider is meant to capture persons who have access to material facts or material information concerning the reporting issuer before such information is generally disclosed to the public, and persons who have the ability to exercise power or influence over the business, operations, capital, or development of the reporting issuer. All reporting issuers, except mutual funds that file disclosure documents on SEDAR, must file information on SEDI. These issuers are referred to as SEDI issuers. Reporting issuers need to file issuer profile supplements and create the appropriate security designations that reflect the securities that they have outstanding. This is important so their reporting insiders have the right template with which to make their own insider reports. So, do you have an exemption? There are several available exemptions to reporting insiders that in some cases delay the filing deadline of certain transactions and in others exempt the reporting insider from filing at all. Certain exemptions are outlined in Parts 5 to 9 of National Instrument 55104, and they include trades made under automatic securities purchase plans, certain issuer grants, normal course issuer bids, certain issuer events, and nil reports. With respect to automatic securities purchase plans, I'd just like to note here that the exemption does not apply to securities acquired under a cash payment option of a dividend, or interest reinvestment plan, or a lump sum provision of a share purchase plan. I don't propose to go into much detail relating to these exemptions, except to say that there are a number of criteria that often need to be satisfied. Before relying on any of these exemptions, please be aware that we expect that the reporting insider and/or the issuer has reviewed these criteria to determine if they can be satisfied. This burden lies with the reporting insider and/or the reporting issuer. Just for reference, there are a number of other national instruments that contain exemptions from insider reporting requirements. These national instruments include National Instrument 51102, Continuous Disclosure Obligations, National Instrument 62103, the Early Warning System and related takeover bid and insider reporting issues, National Instrument 71101, the Multi-Jurisdictional Disclosure System, National Instrument 71102, Continuous Disclosure and other exemptions relating to foreign issuers. Issuers and insiders therefore may wish to review these instruments in determining whether any additional exemptions from the insider reporting requirements are available. So what needs to be reported? Once that you have determined that you are a reporting insider of an issuer, you need to review your security holdings of that issuer to determine what needs to be reported on SEDI. Generally, a reporting insider must report on SEDI any acquisition or disposition of a security of a reporting issuer held by a reporting insider of that issuer. This would include holdings of equity, such as common shares, preferred shares, etc., grants and exercises of stock options, grants and exercises of restricted share awards, performance share awards, or deferred share awards, derivatives of the issuer, other related financial instruments, and debt instruments, including convertible debentures and promissory notes. Equity monetization transactions are transactions that allow an investor to receive a cash amount similar to proceeds of disposition and to transfer all or part of the economic risk and/or return associated with the securities of an issuer without actually transferring the legal and beneficial ownership of such securities. Insider reports are filed for these as well. So where do I file my insider reports? The site for filing SEDI reports is www.sedi.ca. This site is easily accessible from any search engine. Reporting insiders are generally required to file an initial insider report within 10 calendar days of becoming a reporting insider. Any subsequent insider report reflecting changes in the reporting insider's holdings must be filed within 5 calendar days. Any subsequent insider report reflecting changes in the reporting insider's holdings must be filed within 5 calendar days of such change. As I noted in a previous slide, provided certain criteria are met, a reporting insider can make use of an exemption to delay filing an insider report. For example, if the issuer has filed an issuer grant report. But a reporting insider who intends to rely on that exemption must first confirm that the issuer has made the public disclosure required by the instrument before they do so. If the issuer has not made the required disclosure within the required time, the reporting insider must report the grant within the required time and in accordance with normal reporting requirements. I'd also like to stress here that the filing requirements for reporting insiders are based on calendar days, not business days, so weekends count. So how do I report? From the issuer's perspective, first, a reporting issuer that files continuous disclosure on SEDAR is, as we noted, a SEDI issuer. As a SEDI issuer or an agent of a SEDI issuer, you need to ensure your existing SEDAR profile is accurate and complete, register on SEDI as a user using a user ID, file an insider profile supplement including information about the issuer's outstanding securities that may be held by its reporting insiders. Once this is set up, the reporting insiders of a SEDI issuer or an agent of a reporting insider must register on SEDI, file an insider profile, file an initial insider report within the appropriate time frame, disclosing the reporting insider's beneficial ownership of or control or direction over, whether direct or indirect, securities of the reporting issuer, and any interest in or right or obligation associated with a related financial instrument involving a security of the reporting issuer. Following initial setup, issuers and/or agents are responsible for filing or amending issuer profile supplements, for example, to reflect a change in the issuer's outstanding securities, if a new type of security is created and issued, or if the company's information changes. Issuers and/or agents can also file issuer grant reports and issuer event reports. Insiders and/or agents can set up insider profiles or amend existing profiles, and similarly can file insider reports. So as I noted earlier, the OSC recently published OSC Staff Notice 51726, Report on Staff's Review of Insider Reporting and User Guide for Insiders and Issuers. The staff notice details the review we conducted last fiscal year of 100 reporting issuers across all industries whose principal regulator is Ontario. This resulted in a corresponding review of approximately 1,100 reporting insiders by OSC staff. To complete this review, we compared insider information contained in continuous disclosure documents of selected issuers with the insider information reported on SEDI. We also requested and reviewed insider trading policies of issuers to determine whether their policies were in accordance with the best practices set out in National Policy 51201. There are two main areas where we would like to see greater improvement and continued effort by issuers and insiders. First, the quality of insider reporting, and second, an improvement to the policies that issuers use to govern themselves with respect to insider trading. Relating to our first point, we found that 15% of reporting insiders we reviewed had material deficiencies in their SEDI filings, and so remedial filings were completed by approximately 200 reporting insiders to correct these deficiencies. Unfortunately, few issuers had perfect SEDI records. We found that at least one insider in 70% of the issuers we reviewed had to make a remedial filing in order to correct a material deficiency. Relating to our second point, the majority of the issuers we reviewed did have written insider trading policies in place, and they did follow the best practices outlined in National Policy 51201. These best practices include implementing blackout periods around earning announcements. However, approximately 25% of the policies we reviewed allowed insiders to engage in certain derivative-based transactions around a blackout period, and just less than 40% of the policies permitted certain stock option grants and other stock-based compensation around a blackout period. Ideally, we'd like to see a blackout on all insider activity surrounding earnings announcements, including derivative and stock-based transactions. During our review and also through our daily experience, we see several common material deficiencies, and we continue to see these errors made by reporting insiders. Most often, the deficiency is that there is a balance discrepancy between the number of securities reported in the issuer's continuous disclosure and the numbers reported on SEDI. However, in some cases, we see that some reporting insiders hold securities of a reporting issuer but have not filed the SEDI profile at all, and therefore no SEDI reports were publicly available. Some of the common reasons for the errors were knowledge-based, such as that the insider did not realize that they were a reporting insider and needed to make SEDI filings. Also, some issuers did not realize that engaging in a normal course issuer bid makes them a reporting insider and requires them to make SEDI filings for transacting in their own securities. We see that very often reporting insiders are relying on third parties, such as filing agents, to complete their SEDI filings, and did not realize that the reports had not been filed because they had not followed up or been consistent in informing the filing agent about changes to their holdings. We understand from our review, and again, daily experience, that SEDI can be difficult if one is not familiar with it. We find that insiders make several technical errors, including using the wrong transaction code for a report, inputting the wrong date, for example, with respect to the acquisition of securities or the date of an options grant, or reporting the wrong type of ownership. Other common errors? Our review really highlighted for us that continued education is important as SEDI and insider reporting continues to be challenging for many issuers and insiders. We also believe that many of the errors need not be made if there was a little more coordination on behalf of the issuer and a little more effort on behalf of the reporting insider. We do believe that issuers can do much to help their reporting insiders with their SEDI filings, for example, by ensuring that its issuer profile supplement is always current and includes the proper security designations so that reporting insiders can file their holdings using the correct security designation. By implementing an internal process to ensure regular review of its insider profile supplement, this could also reduce the numerous materially deficient filings by reporting insiders, reduce the use of insider-defined securities, and assist us when we conduct our reviews. Also, we've learned that issuers are not making much use of the issuer grant report exemption under Part 6 of National Instrument 55-104. Though the use of such reports is not mandatory, we believe that it is an effective tool that issuers can use to provide the market with timely information about the material terms of a grant of securities to insiders, and also provide reporting insiders with relief from having to report the grant within the ordinary 5-day timeline, thereby cutting down on late or non-existent filings. We learned during our review that many issuers lack the appropriate internal processes to reconcile their internal records with SEDI reports filed by the reporting insiders. We recommend that issuers implement a reconciliation process, as it would be extremely helpful to both the issuer and reporting insiders in that it would allow the issuers and insiders to self-correct on a more regular basis and improve disclosure in general. So now that we have the background, we will move on to address some of the frequently asked questions that our insider reporting team fields from issuers, filing agents, and reporting insiders.
One of the first questions we're going to cover is, what do the different user classifications mean? Upon registration, you are provided with 3 options: agent, insider, or issuer. Please note that only an agent can perform the functions for themselves, other insiders, or issuers. The next question is, when do I need to add registered holders and in what circumstances? You can hold your securities in 3 ways: directly, indirectly, or as control or direction. Let's look at it closer. Direct ownership is pretty straightforward. These are your personal holdings, either directly with an issuer or through a broker. In this case, you do not need to add a registered holder. Indirect ownership means that the insider is not the registered holder. For example, if the holdings are related to an RRSP or family trust, a registered holder should be added. Under controller direction, you hold the securities directly or indirectly, through any contract, arrangement, understanding, or relationship, or otherwise have or share voting power or investment power. For example, you set up a trust for your children in which ABC company securities are held. Because of your relationship with your children, you need to report your children's holdings, because you could direct your children to purchase or sell those securities. This may also be the case if your spouse owns the securities, but you have control or direction over those securities. If you choose either indirect or controller direction, SEDI will prompt you to add the name of the registered holder. The registered holder is the entity through which you beneficially own the securities, such as an RSP, holding company, family trust, or the person or company that owns the securities over which you have control or direction. Please note that once a registered holder has been added, it cannot be amended or deleted.
Another frequently asked question is, if I cease to be a reporting insider, but I'm still an insider, how do I update my insider profile to reflect the change? We suggest that you amend your last report file on SEDI to add a comment in the remarks field explaining why you are exempt from filing or that you are no longer a reporting insider, including the date you cease to be a reporting insider. This way, a member of the public viewing your insider report on SEDI will then know why you have ceased reporting. For what issuer event do I need to report changes in my security holdings? You need to report changes in securities holdings for such event as stock dividend, stock split, consolidation, amalgamation, reorganization, or similar events that affect all holdings of class of securities of an issuer in the same manner on a per share basis. When do I report changes to my holding as a result of share consolidation or split? You must report any changes to holdings due to issuer event the next time you file an insider report. How do I report the changes in my holding resulting from a share consolidation? Here's an example of a stock's consolidation and how to report it. ABC Company has consolidated its issues. ABC Company has consolidated its issued and outstanding common shares on the basis of 1 post-consolidation shares for each 5 pre-consolidation common shares. If you held 100 common shares that were consolidated on a 5-per-1 basis, you now holds 20 common shares. This task can be performed in 3 steps. Step number 1. First, calculate the new number of common shares you hold after the consolidation. In this case, 20 common shares. Step 2. Subtract your new holdings from what you held before the share consolidation. In this case, 100 minus 20. And final step is to report the difference, which would be 80 common shares on SEDI as a disposition using transaction code 37, stock split, or consolidation. There are 3 steps, but you will only have to make 1 filing on SEDI.
And in reverse, how do I report the change in my holdings resulting from a stock split? Here is an example of a stock split and how to report it. XYZ Company completed a split of its common shares on the basis of 5 new shares for each one old share. If you held 100 common shares that were split on a 5-to-1 basis, you now hold 500 common shares. This is also a 3-step mission. First, calculate the new number of common shares you hold after the split, in this case 500 common shares. Then, subtract from this number the number of common shares you held before the split, 500 minus 100. And the last step is to report the difference on SEDI, which would be 400 common shares, as an acquisition under transaction code 37, stock split or consolidation. Remember, as with the previous example, there are 3 steps, but you will only have to make 1 filing on SEDI. What is an underlying security and how do I report it? An underlying security is a security you would acquire or dispose of if you exercise the options you attained when you purchased a different security. For example, if you have options that are exercisable into common shares, the common shares are the underlying securities. On SEDI, you must report both the initial securities you acquired and their underlying securities and related financial instruments. For more information on reporting underlying securities, please refer to the derivatives section in the online help on SEDI. We have covered a few of the frequently asked questions. In order to help you understand the system better, my colleague Elizabeth Henry and I will be continuing with the demonstration of SEDI. For the purposes of this demonstration, we will log in as an agent. As mentioned earlier in our presentation, an agent can file on behalf of both issuers and insiders.
From the agent homepage, select the name of the insider from the drop-down menu on the left and enter the insider access key. Then click Next. You'll be taken to the Insider Activity page. Go to the top nav bar. You will notice three options: Insider Profile, Insider Report, and your user information. Select Insider Report. On the left side, you will notice two options: File Insider Report and Amend or Delete Insider Report. Select File Insider Report. Select the issuer and click File Report. Select the security from the list of available securities. Let's use common shares. Click Next. On this page, you'll have the opportunity to choose the type of ownership for the securities. You'll notice the three choices: direct ownership, indirect ownership, and control or direction that my colleague mentioned earlier. We'll select direct and click Next. When you file your first insider report for a particular security, the system will always ask for the opening balance before you can file actual transaction details. If you have not filed a report on this security type before, you will have to provide an opening balance. This is required in order to enable SEDI to automatically calculate your holdings of that security as of the date of your transaction. You'll notice SEDI has pre-populated the opening balance date. This is the date that was entered in your profile as the date when you became an insider of the issuer. If you did not hold any common shares on the date you became an insider, enter 0 as your opening balance of securities held. You can also enter any remarks if necessary. The system allows you to enter up to 254 characters. General remarks can be seen by the public. Private remarks can only be seen by the regulators. Click Next. You will see a summary page of the report you just completed. At this point, you should review the details to make sure they are correct. If you are happy with your report, click Certified. A pop-up window will appear. You should read the pop-up and ensure you are comfortable with the certification. Click OK. At this point, the report has been filed. If you do not certify the report, it will not be filed. Now, you have set up your opening balance and can go ahead and report your common shares.
We will select same security and holder and click yes. Because we just reported on common shares, SEDI has already set up the security designation as common shares. Enter the date of the transaction. Select the nature of transaction code. In this case, it will be code 10, acquisition or disposition in the public market. Enter the number of common shares acquired. Input the unit or exercise price. And enter any remarks if necessary. Click Next. Review the report and certify, remembering to read the pop-up. Click OK. You will notice that 1,000 common shares have been added. If you are finished and you don't want to file any more transactions, select No. This concludes our question on setting up the opening balance.
The next question we will demonstrate is, how do I report the grant, exercise, and expiration of warrants? From the agent homepage, select the name of the insider from the drop-down menu on the left and enter the insider access key. Then click Next. You will be taken to the Insider Activity page. From the top navigation bar, select Insider Report. On the left side, select File Insider Report. Select the issuer and click File Insider Report. Select the security. In this case, we'll select warrants. Click Next. On this page, you will have the opportunity to choose the type of ownership for the securities. For this demonstration, we'll select Direct Ownership and click Next. This insider has not filed warrants before, so they will have to provide an opening balance of 0. You will notice that you also have to provide an opening balance for the number of underlying securities, which in this case will be 0 as well. Click Next. Review the transaction and certify. Remember to read the certification language and click OK. Now that we have entered the opening balance, we can file the grant of warrants. Remember that you can print this page for your record. Select the same security and holder and click Yes. Enter the date. Enter the date of the transaction. In this case, we'll choose January 2nd, 2017. Choose the nature of transaction. In this case, it will be Code 53, Grant of Warrants. Enter the number of warrants acquired on the left-hand side of the screen. In this case, we'll choose 10,000. Enter the equivalent number of underlying shares, again 10,000. Enter the unit price or exercise price, in this case $2.50. If there's a conversion or exercise price, enter it now. You can also choose not applicable. Enter the date of expiry or maturity. Enter any remarks. Click OK. Review the report page and certify. Remember to read the certification language and select OK. You will notice the opening balance as of the date they became an insider is 0, and the balance as of the date they were granted the warrants is now 10,000. Now we are going to exercise some of the warrants.
On this page, make sure same security and holder is selected and click Yes. Enter the date of the transaction. Select the nature of the transaction. For exercise of warrants, which will be code 54. On the right-hand side of the screen, enter the number of warrants disposed. You will notice that acquisitions are done on the left and dispositions are done on the right-hand side. Now, let's dispose of some of the warrants and their underlying securities. Enter the unit or exercise price, as well as the date of expiry. And enter any remarks if necessary. Click Next. You will see a pop-up box reminding you that this is a two-part transaction, which means that you also must file a report detailing the acquisition of the underlying shares. Click OK. Review the report and certify. Read the pop-up box and click OK. On the completed report page, you will notice that we have shown the disposition of 3,000 warrants. Now we have to report the second half of the transaction. Because now we're going to report the acquisition of the common shares, we will click on the different security option. Click Yes. And select common shares. After clicking Next, select the ownership type, click Next, enter the date of the transaction, which is the same date the warrants were exercised. Select the nature of transaction code, code 54, exercise of warrants. Enter the number of common shares acquired. Remember to enter the unit or exercise price. And lastly, enter any remarks if necessary. Click Next. Please remember to review the report and certify after reading the pop-up. Once satisfied, click OK. You will notice that 3,000 common shares have been added. To complete the story, let's expire the remaining warrants.
Because we just reported on common shares, we will have to select a different security to report the expiration of warrants. Select Warrants. Select the ownership type. Enter the date of the transaction. Select the nature of transaction, in this case code 55, expiration of warrants. Enter the number of warrants expiring in the right-hand column. In our example, it is the remaining 7,000 warrants. Enter the equivalent number of underlying securities. These sections are not needed as the warrants are expiring. Enter any remarks if necessary. Click Next. Review the report and certify, remembering to read a pop-up. Click OK. Now the expiration of the warrants has been reported and the closing balance of the warrant is now 0. Remember, you can print this page for your record. That concludes our demonstration on grants, exercise, expiration of warrants. Now we will demonstrate how to set up security designation to report share-based compensation other than options such as deferred share units, DSUs, restricted share awards, RSAs, and stock appreciation rights, SARS. From the agent homepage, select the issuer from the drop-down menu on the right side and enter the issuer access key. Click Next. Select Issuer Profile Supplement on the top navigation bar. Select Amend Issuer Profile Supplement on the left-hand side. Select Add Security Designation. Choose the security category, in this case, Issuer Derivatives. Select the security designation, in this case, Rights. Add a description, for example, SARS. Select the underlying security designation. We'll choose Equity, then Common Shares. Here you can add a description if necessary. In this case, we'll add exercisable for cash. Click File. At this point, the security designation has been filed and your insider can file using SARS. If the SARS are exercisable for shares, it will be a two-part transaction similar to what we did for warrants. Because these are exercisable for cash, it will be a one-part transaction, which we will now demonstrate.
Having said that, now let's file the report and then exercise stock appreciation rights. From the agent homepage, select the name of the insider from the drop-down menu on the left and enter an access key. Having completed that task, click Next. You'll be taken to the Insider Activities page. From the top navigation bar, select Insider Report. On the left-hand side, choose File Insider Report. Choose the appropriate issuer and click File Insider Report. Select the security designation we just created. On this page, you'll have the opportunity to choose the type of ownership for the securities. We'll select Direct Ownership. Click Next. As you can see, this insider has not filed SARS before. The system will prompt you to enter an opening balance. Let's enter a 0. You will notice that you also have to provide an opening balance for the number of underlying securities, which in this case will be 0 as well. After having entered all this information, click Next. Review the transaction and certify. Remember to read the certification language and click OK. You can also print this page for your record. Now that we've entered the opening balance, we can file the grant of SARS. Select Same Security and Holder and click Yes. Enter the date of the transaction. For the purposes of this demonstration, we'll choose January 2nd, 2017. Let's choose the appropriate transaction code, code 56, Grant of Rights. Enter the number of SARS acquired on the left-hand side of the screen. In this case, we'll choose 20,000. Enter the equivalent number of underlying shares, again 20,000. Input the unit price or exercise price. Let's pick $2.50. If there is a conversion or exercise price, enter it now. As an option, you can choose Not Applicable. You must enter the date of expiry or maturity, while the remarks section remains optional. Click Next. Let's review the report page and certify, remembering to read the certification language. Click OK. On this page, you will notice that the opening balance for this insider as of the date they became an insider is 0, and the balance as of the date they were granted the warrants is $20,000.
Now we're going to exercise some of the SARs. On this page, make sure same security and holder is selected and click Yes. Enter the date of the transaction. Select the nature of the transaction, which is Code 59, Exercise for Cash. Enter the number of SARs disposed of. Let's dispose of half the SARs, and therefore half of the underlying securities. Enter the unit price. Enter the date of expiry. Enter any remarks if necessary, such as exercise for cash. Click Next. Review the report and certify. Read the pop-up box and click OK. On the completed report page, you will notice that we have shown the disposition of 10,000 SARs. Another question we are frequently asked is, what is the additional contact information and why should I add it to my insider profile? If you wish, you can add the name and contact information of a person that the securities regulator or the SEDI operator could contact instead of you regarding your SEDI filing. Let's go through the steps. From the agent homepage, select the name of the insider from the drop-down menu on the left and enter the insider access key. Click Next. Select the insider profile option from the top navigation bar. Click Amend Insider Profile on the left-hand side. You will see two choices: Amend Insider Personal Information and Add or Amend Issuer Information. Select option 2, Add or Amend Issuer Information. Then select the issuer. Scroll to the Optional Information section at the bottom of the page and select the first option, which is if you wish to be contacted at another address or you wish to name another contact person, check this box. Click Next. Now you can enter the contact information of the person you wish to add. This person should be an individual who have your permission and authority to speak on your behalf regarding your insider report and filing on SEDI. Alternatively, you could also put additional contact information for yourself if you do not wish to be contacted at your residential address. When all this information is entered, click Next. Review the information you have added under Additional Contact Information for the issuer. Click Certified, remembering to read the pop-up. Click OK. You can print this page for your records if you wish. As this is the only amendment we want to make, click No and you are done. Just so you know, none of this additional contact information is made available to the public. Now we are going to demonstrate how to cease being an insider of an issuer. From the agent homepage, select the name of the insider from the drop-down menu on the left and enter the insider access key. Click Next. Select Insider Profile from the top navigation bar. Click on Amend Insider Profile on the left-hand side. Click on Option 2, Add or Amend Issuer Information. Select the issuer and click Amend. Enter the date the insider ceased being an insider of the issuer. A pop-up box will appear cautioning you that once you have ceased to be an insider for this issuer, you will no longer be able to make any changes to your profile for this issuer. Click OK and finish entering the date. Click Next. Click Certify. Click Certify, remembering to read the pop-up window. Click OK. This insider has now ceased to be an insider of the issuer on SEDI.
Our last demonstration is going to be about public access. What can be viewed through public access? Any member of the public can view information filed on SEDI by clicking Access Public Filings on the Welcome to SEDI page. The information is available in either French or English. SEDI provides extensive search capabilities for public users. The following reports can be viewed: Weekly Summary Reports, Insider Transaction Detail Reports, Insider Information by Issuer Reports, and Issuer Event History Reports. Let's demonstrate how to view Insider Transaction Detail Reports, ITDs. Click Access Public Filings in the top right-hand corner of the Welcome to SEDI page. The Introduction to Access Public Filings screen opens. Pick View Summary Reports in the left navigation bar. The View Summary Reports screen opens. Scroll down and click on the radio button beside Insider Transaction Detail. Click Next. Then the Enter Search Criteria screen opens. Under Mandatory Criteria, click the arrowhead and select the appropriate description for the information you require. If you want to view insider reports for an individual user, choose Insider Family Name. If you wish to view insider reports for a company insider, choose Insider Company Name. If you want to view insider reports for all insiders of a particular issuer, choose Issuer Name. For our demonstration, we will search by insider name. Fill in optional criteria if you wish, such as the date range, the type of security designation, or the issuer industry classification. This will filter out any unnecessary information and make your search a little faster. Alternatively, you can go to the bottom of the screen and click Search if you want to view all reports filed by the selected insider. The Select Insider Issuer screen opens. Click View at the beginning of the line on the screen to view the transaction details. The insider transaction details for the insider will appear. To be able to view any remarks associated with the filings, you must select Yes next to Do you want to view transactions with remarks? You can also print this report. To do so, scroll to the bottom of the screen and select Download PDF Report. You can print or save the transaction detail report from this screen. That concludes our SEDI demonstration. We hope it was helpful in addressing some of the more frequently asked questions. Here's our contact information. Please feel free to contact us with any questions or concerns. Thank you for attending SME Institute's Insider Reporting and SEDI presentation.